Hello, my name is Kayla, and this is the first podcast I've ever attempted in my entire life. It was inspired a bit by a friend of mine. They just recently did their first podcast. Well, first successful podcast they had attempted in the past. But they just posted it on their blog, and I thought it was kind of cool. I did listen to theirs. It was pretty good for a first podcast. And I thought it would be fun to try creating my own. Simply because I have a lot going on in my life, and I am capable of talking about it. And I thought that was a good enough reason. So, I don't know if I will attempt to come up with topics, or if I'm just gonna rant at you about what's going on. I do have a very busy life. I am currently a college student. I am taking 6 classes. Average class load is maybe 4, and 2 of my classes are honors, so I have a lot of homework constantly. Like, I was reading while I was driving to work today, and then from work to class. It's just a lot. It's manageable, but it's difficult. So, I can talk about classes. I can talk about work because I have 2 jobs. I could talk about clubs because I'm part of the student government and I run my own club. I'm actually in 2 different committee boards on the student government. So there's a lot going on always. Somehow I still manage to have a social life, which I don't even know sometimes. It's just amazing. Sometimes I actually catch myself telling other people about what I'm doing, and I'm just like, is that me? Am I talking about myself? Because this doesn't sound like it should be me. Like, I really like making my teachers, like, cookies or treats or something at the end of a semester. And I was in the grocery store the other day at the end of my fall semester. Yeah, fall semester. And I was getting stuff to make cookies, and the lady behind me in line asked if I was baking. I was like, yeah, I've got a lot of classes and all that, but I really like to make my teacher cookies and all of my teachers' cookies, and I'm gonna make the maintenance man cookies because he's been really awesome this year. And I just, like, laughed at myself, honestly, when I got in my car, because I don't know. I sound fictional to myself sometimes. Like, I don't know how I keep up with me. It's, I don't know. I've got a lot of planners. I literally have, like, stuff in my phone planner. I have a physical planner that I write in, and I have a large chalkboard calendar on my wall, as well as a to-do list, a running, ever-changing to-do list. And if I don't have my planner and my to-do list in front of me or with me, I can't make plans because I am guaranteed to forget something. A, because I have a poor memory, and B, because there's just a lot to do. Just a lot to do. If you guys hear a weird sound, that's my rat running on her wheel. I have 2 rats. They're sisters. One is white and tan. Her name is Apollo. And one is brown and white. Her name is Illia. Illia. And they are the sweetest things. They're actually a lot smarter than a lot of animals, actually. And they're very sweet. I used to like hamsters, but then I got a hamster one year, and that thing bit the crap out of me. Like, they are little spawns of Satan, I am telling you. But rats are really sweet. I've had rats before, and I've never been bitten. Even the ones I have now, like, they'll nibble my finger a little bit to see if I'm food, but then they realize I'm not, and then they're just fine. But they're the cutest things. They're still babies. Got them, I don't remember how many months ago. It was a while. Less than a year, though. But got them this giant cage. It's in my room, above my art supplies. They're just the sweetest things. I've got these giant sweatpants that I can put them in the pockets, and it's so adorable because they just like poke their heads out from my pockets and just like look around. And sometimes they'll try to crawl up me and jump away, so I have to make sure I keep track of them and try to keep them in my pockets. Or if I put them on my shoulder, they'll like hang out up there. Unless I get too close to something, then they'll try to like run away and explore. I did get them one of those balls that you can put them in to let them run around. And at first, they just kind of ran and hid in the corner. I was kind of irked because I spent like $30 on this thing for them to just sit in the corner in it. But that was the first time. The second time, Apollo ran around a bunch, but Ilya somehow figured out how to like twist the top, and she almost escaped. Like, I heard the top pop off. I was sitting on the floor working on an art project, and I heard the top pop off, so I like whipped around real quick just in time to see her like step out of the ball, and I grabbed her and put her back in the cage. But I don't know, maybe I'll have to tape it or something, or I don't know, maybe just don't put her in the ball. She doesn't seem to like it as much as Apollo does. Because Apollo's the only one that ever runs on the wheel. Ilya kind of like sleeps in their food bowl when it's empty, which I think is funny. It reminds me of cats, the if I fits, I sits kind of thing. Which we do have cats. I still live at home with my mom, my stepdad, and one of my brothers and one of my sisters. And we've got a lot of animals. We've got 2 cats named Hogan and Moonshine. We have 2 dogs named Sierra and Chloe. We have 2 rabbits named Nelson and Joy. We have a parakeet named Sweetie Bird. And what else do we have? We have 2 ducks. I don't remember one of their names, but the other one, it's a big white duck we named Aflac. We have a bunch of chickens. I don't think they have names anymore because we've had a bunch of chickens since we started getting chickens. But they're egg layers, except for the roosters, obviously. So we almost always have fresh eggs, which is great. And we also have a bunch of pigs. We have, Wilbur is our adult male pig. I think our adult female pig's name is Bacon Bits, which I think is extremely cruel. And she just had a litter of pigs, little baby pigs, not too long ago. They're only a few months old, and we've actually just sold all of them. So people are going to come pick them up, and which is good. I think we're keeping maybe 2 of them for us, but I don't think I could eat them. Like, we did have 2 adult male pigs, and we had one of them, and it was a lot of pork for a really long time, but it was the best pork I've ever had in my entire life. Not exaggerating, it was really, really good. But I didn't ever interact with that pig. But when she had the babies, me and my mom would go over to the cage, well, the fenced-in area, and, like, watch them run around, and they were just so cute. Like, they would, like, get excited, and, they'd watch their mom, and they would start to root around in the dirt like she would, and they were just adorable, and they just got so exhausted sometimes when they were really little that they'd just be running around, and then they just would plop over and just try to sleep, but then the other ones would still be energetic and, like, mess with them, and so I don't think I could eat them because I associate it with them, and all I can think of is their adorable little piggy faces. So I'm hoping that that doesn't end up on our dinner table. But we are decently self sufficient with, the raising pigs and eggs from chickens. And once the chickens, outgrow their use as egg layers, they're not the best meat because they're not bred for that, but it's chicken. And I don't know too many people who don't like chicken except for my vegetarian and vegan and selectitarian friends, which I don't think should be a thing, personally. Don't hate me for that. But we have that, and then we're getting cows soon, which I just am really uncertain about. Like, my stepdad's already putting the posts, like the fence posts, in the ground so that he can put up the electric fence. But I don't want cows in our front yard, personally. I mean, I don't get much of a say because this is not my roof that I'm under, and I'm appreciative for it, but my mom just, tells me to let my stepdad do his thing. It's kind of his hobby. So, we're gonna let him do his thing. We're gonna get cows, which I think's just kind of silly, but it leads into the more self-sufficient kind of thing, so I understand it. It's just, I don't want to wake up and look at my front yard and see cows. And it won't be that bad. I think I'm more concerned about the smell. But whatever. I guess I'll get used to it. I do, live in a farm area anyway, so it's not like there's not a ton of smells everywhere. But that'll probably be the last, like, livestock kind of animal we get. We do garden in the summertime. Have like a big vegetable fruit. Well, we don't grow fruit, but vegetable garden. My mom likes to do flower beds too. They're really pretty. She found out she has an extreme fondness for wildflowers because they're super easy to grow. You literally just sprinkle all the seeds just anywhere and they grow, and you don't really have to tend to them very much, but they're really pretty. So she'll make really tiny bouquets out of them, and it's really cute. But I'm excited for, spring and summer again, because I don't do well in the cold. I am not a Eskimo. I don't know. I just don't do well in extreme temperatures. Like, when it's really cold or really hot, I'm just not a happy camper. My favorite seasons are spring and fall because they're more mild and because they're super colorful, and I think that's awesome. Plus, my birthday's in spring, so I'm a little bit biased. But I am excited for summer this year because I've decided that I'm going to make my own garden. The idea actually came up because I was reading a book with a friend. It's called The Shack by W.M. Young, I believe, is the author. And basically, the premise of the Shack is this man goes through a hardship, and this shack is like the source of a lot of his pain. And he gets this letter from God asking him to meet him at the shack. So he does. He meets God at the shack, and in one of the scenes in the book, he's out back in a garden with the Holy Spirit. And just like the explanation of the garden, it was just like really chaotic, but seemed to have some sort of order about it, and was super colorful and just random. And I just thought that was a beautiful idea. Like, I'm gonna make a garden this summer, but it's not gonna be, like your average everything goes in rows or everything has its own spot and it has to go by the things that are like it. I really just want to get like a bunch of flowers and vegetables and maybe even fruit that I want, and I'm just gonna designate a small plot of land, and I'm gonna, cultivate it and till it and get it ready myself, and then just plant all the seeds. And I'll probably put the little, stakes with the label on it so I know what's what in case I put anything edible in there, but I just think it'd be really pretty to be random. and just things that you wouldn't expect to be growing together. Like, I'm gonna grow some lavender next to some tomatoes, next to, I don't know, some rosemary, next to some tulips. Like, I don't know, something just random. Just off, maybe I'll just go to a store and like blindly pick out a few packs of seeds. And if they aren't in the same season, I'll put the ones back that aren't and like redo. But that'll be cool. Once I get it done, if it turns out well this year, maybe I'll post some pictures. I should do that with my animals. I'll show you guys my rats, maybe. They're a little bit harder to take pictures of because anytime they're like being really cute in their cage and I go to try to take a picture of them, they like come up to the edge of the cage and like try to check out like what I'm doing. It's like, but stop, no, you were being adorable. I need the picture of you being adorable, but they just want to know what I'm doing, so they run up to the edge of the cage and like look at me and like sniff their nose, and they're just so cute. I know rats probably gross some of you out, but I think they're adorable. They're very sweet. They're very intelligent. These are actually the third and fourth rats I've ever had. The first rat I ever had, I named Bandit because she was mostly white, but she had this patch of black fur that was like over her eyes, almost like a mask. I thought it was really cute, so I called her Bandit. And then my second rat I ever had, I named Sheila. She was just tan and white. She didn't have any like distinct markings, but I thought it'd be a cute name. I'm using the word cute a lot. I should find like a synonym or something. Maybe I'll look one up. I've realized that recently. My vocabulary is not extremely broad, and that bothers me. Like, I really think I should work on that. I went to a friend's house the other day, actually, and she started saying a word I had never heard before, but she said it like every few sentences, and I couldn't tell if she was being funny, but then I realized she's been asking one of her friends for like a new word every like 2 days, and she tries to use it as like in sentences that day, so she's basically just expanding her vocabulary, and I think that's great. And I don't know, the word was consternation that she was using, and I ended up looking it up, and it was basically like anxiety, or here, I'll look it up here. Yeah, okay, so it's feelings of anxiety or dismay. Typically it's something unexpected. Consternation. So she'd use it at every other sentence. She'd be like, I have been a great cause of consternation in the house today. I'm like, you've been what now? So, but I think that's great that she's expanding her vocabulary like that. I even noticed that I use the word love to describe things I really enjoy. Like, oh my gosh, I love mac and cheese, or I love roller skating, or I love that song, or oh my gosh, I love flowers. And I just think that is crap. I think it's crap because that word just like should have more meaning than that, I think. Cuz when you love someone, it's like a really strong, deep, true kind of feeling. And I don't think I should use that for things that I just really enjoy if I plan on using that for people that I have a serious, like, connection to or deep affection for or something like that. I feel like it's almost cheating them in the meaning and the intensity of what I'm feeling. So I need to find lesser synonyms for that, like really enjoy, or I don't know after that because my vocabulary, like I said, is not that broad. So we're gonna work on that. Maybe I'll do a word of a day kind of thing. That's actually unrealistic. I have too many things to do in a day. Maybe I'll do like a word a week. That's doable, right? So maybe I'll just try to work on the love thing first. I'll just tell people I really enjoy roller skating, or um, I find great pleasure in receiving flowers, or mac and cheese is a really great food. I enjoy it a lot. Or, I don't know, I could eat it. I don't know, I couldn't eat it every day. I'd get sick of it. I couldn't eat anything every day. I don't know how some people do it. I mean, I used to. Like, for 8th grade, my entire year of 8th grade, I ate a bag of Utz, the UTZ salt and vinegar chips for lunch. That was the only thing I ate for lunch all of 8th grade. 8th grade was a bad year, but those chips were awesome, and I think they're still my favorite salt and vinegar chips. Or, most of the time when I have a packed lunch, it's peanut butter and jelly, because I like peanut butter and jelly. But sometimes I switch up the jelly. Like, it doesn't always have to be grape. Sometimes it's strawberry. Sometimes I use apple. Sometimes raspberry. I've even used almond butter instead of peanut butter, which I find I really enjoy, but it's kind of hard to spread. I usually eat it off of a spoon instead of in a sandwich. Excuse me. Just because it is hard to spread. But it's good. It's great for people who are, like, allergic to peanut butters but still want that kind of sandwich. I was in class the other day, and I offered my friend that sits next to me, I offered her some Nerds, like the candy, and she couldn't have it because she was allergic, and that blew my mind. I guess she's kind of allergic to the tropical flavors or whatever, but I was just so sad for her in that instance. I didn't know what to do. But then I shared with like 2 other friends today, so that rectified it a little bit. Well, guys, I'm getting a little tired. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I honestly shouldn't still be awake because I've got to wake up tomorrow and get myself together and go see my nanny because her birthday was a week or 2 ago. And do homework, and I think I have plans in the evening with a friend. So I should not still be awake, but I am, because, that's just how my body likes to work. But, yeah, if you've listened this far, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I can keep this up. If not, you guys can virtually yell at me. That will be okay. Alright. See ya.